Hello and welcome back to the AFL High Performance Podcast. My name is Jack McLean. I'm a strength and conditioning coach at the Parramatta Eels, and today I'm lucky enough to have Kieren Morgan here as my guest. He's the head physiotherapist at the Parramatta Eels, and we've got an exciting... Hello and welcome back to the AFL High Performance Podcast. My name is Jack McLean. I'm a strength and conditioning coach at the Parramatta Eels, and today I'm lucky enough to have... Sorry guys, haven't done a live face-to-face one for a while. Bit of editing to be done. Kieren Morgan here is our head physiotherapist, and we've got an exciting announcement, Parra Perform, where we're bringing elite care to the wider community for strength and conditioning coaches, medical practitioners, and anyone that's passionate about working in the field of professional sport, but also bringing elite care to the wider community. Welcome, Morgan. Thanks for jumping on, mate.
Thanks, Jack. Good to be here.
Quick little background, I guess. You've been in the industry a long time, but for those that aren't aware of your background, most probably will, but I guess take us back to the start, mate. Your passion for the industry of performance sport and different clubs you've worked at, and then ultimately we'll just then lead that into Parra Perform.
Yeah, so it's been a good, probably going on 20 years now, but I started back at the Wentworthville Magpies, which is a feeder club for the Eels. So, you know, starting that community, not community scene, but like that sub-elite scene. Then I was lucky enough to get a job at Parramatta a year later. Spent a good 4 years here before heading off to the Melbourne Storm for a stint, and then the Penrith Panthers for a few years. Then I've come full circle back to the Eels. So. It's been a journey so far, but it's been very rewarding.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously that range of going from semi-professional sport to some elite clubs there. For those that are interested in the event, we've got an event on February 6th, which there's still about 50% opportunity to join. So if you're listening in and you're interested, read your expression of interest. You get a chance to jump in. It's a free event. For those that are interested in following a similar journey, what sort of things can they expect at Parra Perform to help them have a similar career? Yeah.
So I think it's, we've started this series. Parra Perform's about creating a community for sports medicine and performance professionals in Western Sydney and around the Parramatta area. And obviously being from that sub-elite background and seeing, knowing that from community through to elite sport, there's a whole range of different challenges at each level, and we thought there's so many good practitioners out there in Western Sydney. Let's bring them all together. Let's learn from each other, and then we want to present our ideas and what we do to a broader community, and it's kind of like testing our processes and ideas as well, presenting them in front of a live audience, and then learning from each other along the way. So it's going to be, what we would like it to be is an ongoing series of events where we connect with everyone in Western Sydney, and all the good practitioners out there have a chance to not only hear from us, but contribute to the group as well.
Fantastic, awesome. And then what can we expect on a typical event? Is it presentations? Is it practical components? What's sort of the experience? I know there's going to be a feed as well. Yeah,
it's going to be all of the above. So our inaugural event is going to be a chance to come and see our new high performance centre, the James Hardie Centre of Excellence at Kellyville, which we moved into last year. So it'll be a quick tour of that, a chance to connect over dinner. So obviously the club's putting on a feed for everyone and gives us a chance to connect with everyone. And then we're going to put on a presentation which hopefully encompasses everything we do as a high performance unit. So everyone will get a chance to present their piece of the puzzle in terms of returning someone from injury, in this case going to be ankle syndesmosis injury. We'll talk about surgical considerations all the way through to their return to performance, which is their return to their peak performance at play. So I think every event will probably follow a similar path.
Yep.
We'll have a topic. Eventually we'd like to get external people involved, whether that's a guest presenter or even people within our Parra Perform community presenting a case study or some interesting or novel exercises they're doing or whatever it might be. So we want it to be interactive. and we want it to grow as time goes on. So it's all about
fantastic.
connection. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I think when I think back, it's similar like when you're at the Magpies and you want to get in as I guess upskilled as you possibly can, and getting into lead environments isn't the easiest thing. It can take a bit of a process before you get that first crack. So a lot of the time you're spending time and energy upskilling yourself for skills that you hope one day will pay dividends. But it sounds like with these events, you speak to the people that are in those roles holistically, whether it be nutrition, from a taping perspective, testing, so you're getting the whole picture. I guess it will be pretty relevant. And then I guess sounds like we'll be filtering it to whether those that are working in professional sports, there'll be discussions around that, but then also those working in semi-pro or in the clinic, we can transfer that knowledge across to no matter where you're sort of situated. The practical components, I know a few people have reached out and asked about live and doing it remotely. What's your sort of stance on facilitating that, or is it more focused on face-to-face? Yeah.
I think in the first instance we envisage this as a face-to-face series of events, and just to maximise that connection with people. There's so many platforms out there where you can learn stuff at the moment. That's probably a post-COVID type of environment that we're in, where everyone's putting their information out there. But we want to kind of bring it back to a local community. Really, that's the essence of it. We know we've got so many good practitioners out there in Western Sydney. We want to give them a place to come together and continue to come together. So we don't want to lose that. But of course, we'll record everything and we can post stuff and send it to people if they're interested. And we've already had a few people reach out about that, which is fine. But in essence, this is about building a community where we can come and connect and face to face.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I love that. I think, like you touched on, with COVID, it went a massive trend of online, and we all dabbled into that, and it was sort of the best thing at the time. But then you start really the best, or the most value I've got out of professional development courses like these is the in-between moments, where there'll be a presentation like this one's on syndesmosis, so that you dive in pretty deep on a particular topic, and then you struck a conversation with someone on, how did you find that test? And they might have a similar environment to yours and similar challenges, similar problems, and before you know it, you're creating your own little workshop and discussion that's really relevant to you, and then that might foster a relationship that you then have for the rest of your career, that you can jump on the phone call after work, or you can just bounce ideas off. So I couldn't agree more. I think that's it's probably not a lot of people are doing it, like you said, but I think to double down on the face-to-face, I think, and the practical aspect of it, and upskilling, and I guess we're sort of not hiding anything. It seems like it's sort of everything's open doors.
Absolutely. I think the best experience is best shared. Like that whole happiness is best when it's shared. If we're not happy to share ideas, then what are we doing?
Yeah, like you said at the start, we all want to learn.
We want to test. We want to test our processes in front of a real audience that that can challenge us, that can or back it up to say that that's a great idea. We're doing a good job. So that's part of the process, and then we want the feedback to then come and say, let's learn from everyone out there who might be doing something a little bit different, a little bit better.
Yeah, you can think laterally a little bit.
Yeah. Like, we have our for the audience. We have a catch up monthly, as our own professional development, where we all come together and talk about a case or talk about a certain topic. And what we found is, because we've got so many good practitioners across the whole breadth of the club. Matty Stewart was the one who probably, at one point, I think he started talking about what he does in the clinic, because he's working in the clinic, and we thought, geez, we forget about that stuff.
You lose
we're going
touch
from here to here, and we're missing these little key. So, and that's
where the gold
is. That's really where the gold is. Yeah,
100%. And I guess year ahead, like 2026, at the start of the year, what's sort of the vision in terms of, I think that's another thing I really love. I think we're going to be diving deep on one topic rather than sort of touching the surfaces on, a range of different topics in one night. So it's like first one, Feb 6, which make sure to sign up, guys, if you're interested. It's on syndesmosis. what else are the topics that are sort of front of mind at the moment that listeners can get excited about?
Yeah, so obviously ankle syndesmosis is one, probably coming from probably a bit more of my personal kind of experience and expertise, but the next one that you and I are both quite passionate about is calf injury and return to performance, and really drilling down on understanding all the nuances around different types of injury in the calf. So I think that's going to be a great one.
Very topical for today.
Yeah.
Like today's age, yeah.
I think it's kind of like the in injury at the moment. There seems to be quite a prevalence of them, and I think the way we image and the way we think about the imaging of calves and what implications that has really come on leaps and bounds in the last kind of couple of years. So there's some, we can go into some real depth in that topic. And the other one I'm really keen to get up and running is one on concussion. I think we do what I think is a really good job managing concussion at the Parramatta Eels, and it'd be good to share that and just pressure test that with everyone else's ideas, and it's such a holistic topic. I know Alice, our sports dietitian, has got some really good ideas around how she can help manage concussion rehabilitation. It's never ending in terms of all the different systems you can bring into place in terms of rehabbing athletes, and not just sticking with they're 21 days. It's going back. We're well beyond that now. Yeah, and as a community, I think we really need to make sure that everyone's owning the process here and having a solid framework. That can be. You might be on your own in community sports setting. You can still have a solid framework for your rehabilitation of the CUS athlete. Yeah, and for any of these injuries really, and that's kind of like what we're trying to set up is, these are our frameworks. How would you adapt them to your situation?
Yeah, if you're just the one person.
Yeah,
you can still
that's
have those
tough.
conversations.
That's where you learn the most too, I think. We all probably hark back to when we were less resourced, and we've got resources coming out our ears, but like, if you're only one of two or one of three, that's
you learn your tools then.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the athlete's perspective, which is probably a bit of a point of difference, I guess, and the luxury of the position we have working at the Eels and with the guys that we have. Maybe do you want to shed light on how that perspective is going to be integrated?
Yeah. So at our inaugural event, we'll hear from a couple of players around their perspective of injury, around ankle syndesmosis injury. Our vision is to have the athletes involved at regular points throughout the year where they can actually come in and be with us at a session and sit in and give their perspective. I think that's going to be really quite unique and important as well. It's probably something we forget about when we talk about professional development and talking about sports medicine and stuff like this. We quite often forget about the athlete perspective. So really keen to get that.
I remember, I think it was a seminar, and the rehab coach interviewed the athlete, and they were going through an Achilles to come back for a World Cup. So it was high pressure, short amount of time, and what it really brings to life for me was the mental challenges that the athlete goes through, and their support network. And I guess it's just I can get guilty of it, get caught up in the markers, the objective data, and getting them back to their strength and their range of motion and the physical side, but it just goes to show that the mental side, which we're all aware of if we've been working in rehab, it's a hard place, it's a lonely place for the athlete, but that's where I guess the wellbeing, George and Gowie can support us, and if you're lucky enough to have access to a sports psychologist, but yet again, if you're the one-stop shop, I guess that important, the relationship side of things with your athletes. So I think that would be really exciting, and especially hearing from experienced players as well about it's not just rookies that find it hard, but the best players in the world have the same challenges, and hearing from how we can support them and navigate through those challenges, I think it would be absolute gold.
I think it's a piece on that shared decision making too. The athlete needs to be part of that shared decision making process, and regular communication within that. I mean, obviously in our setting we can do that on the daily, or passing conversations. And I think that's one of the key challenges that will probably come about from people who aren't working at that level, is how do we get that shared communication happening regularly?
And they've got a full-time job. They've got
Exactly right.
And studying. Yeah.
You know, but if it's only just you and the athlete, that's still shared decision making. So you're sitting down with the athlete and saying, where you're at.
Probably even more important in that world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's probably a matter of just making sure you take notes of that and then share it. That's communicating.
Yep.
At a basic level. So it doesn't have to be everyone in the room together. It can be, there's plenty of ways to do it. But it probably comes back to just having that your framework, the common language, all these things you can set up over time to make your department better is key.
Yep. And we've touched on it a little bit earlier, but I guess the skills that practitioners can expect to harness. So there's strapping that I know you've mentioned before, obviously testing, getting in the gym floor and doing some drills and running drills, and but what are some other diagnostics? Looking at scans, what are some other things that we can expect to dive into?
Well, I think every event will probably encompass all those things. We want things to be set up so we might present our topic, present our ideas, go to the gym floor, and you might take a group through your return to play markers, actually show people, getting everyone involved, and I think that's unreal. And we might even just go think about breakout groups, where we might go through some imaging stuff and get one of our radiologists and to go through some in-depth anatomy and stuff like that, and imaging, get our perspective from our club doctor around his decision-making process around is that surgical, is it not? Just taking people through that whole process that we take for granted, or we just do on the daily. I think that's what we want to get across.
Yep.
And then it's probably just getting people just to come back with what they do. Especially in the gym space. I think what exercise do you do for this? What's the testing protocol? We get so much out of that when we talk to different people, and that's us learning and continually improving ourselves. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's a lot of open discussions. Sounds like it's if you're in the industry, no matter what the level, it's inclusive. So all are welcome. The expression of interest is probably purely to eradicate those that just want a free tour of the $70 million facility.
We've had a few.
But I know a couple have reached out to me and asked, what was the purpose of that? That was simply it. So no matter what level you're at in your career, you're welcome. And like Morg said, everyone's got a perspective and a different lens that they can share. So I think you can see it's going to be highly interactive. It's going to be holistic. There's going to be practitioners from all walks of life, including the athlete themselves, to share their stories. So I think it's a no-brainer, as we like to say. In terms of if you're interested, you're in the area and you'd like to book, it's free. This first one on Feb 6. So make sure to put your hat in the ring, and it'd be great to meet you. And it's something that we're trying to develop, the relationship, the community side of things as well. So it'll be forever evolving, and it's something that we do at regular events. So any last final sort of notes, mate?
I think we've covered everything. It's like I said, it's just about us connecting with our broader sports medicine performance community in around Parramatta, and hopefully staying connected, learning from each other, continually improving,
perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you tuned in halfway through there at the end, wind it back. This will live on our YouTube channel. We'll put it on the registration expression interest blog post as well, so you can. And then we'll release it on the podcast this Friday. So if you prefer listening to audio content on the way to work, it'll live on our podcast. And if you are interested, the link is in the show notes. So if you're driving the car, on the move, don't sweat. I'll put the link in there so it's easy to access, and you can jump in. And I would probably jump on it pretty quickly, because I feel like we're going to reach capacity. We've probably got 100 to 150 is probably our ceiling with this. So, and like Morg said, it'll be broken up in small groups, so there'll be lots of opportunity to share and discuss and bounce ideas off each other. So looking forward to meeting you all, and thanks for Morgs for jumping on, sharing with us his vision for Parra Perform, and we'll see you down at the Hardie Centre. Sorry, the Hardie setup. There's my joke for the. Boom.
Nice.
What was that? That would be